Ine, ina mona mwami wane, hey. Lomo lusuku, ina mona, ina mona mwami wane, hey. Lomo lusuku, ina mona, ina mona, mwami wane, yes. Lomo lusuku, ina mona, ina mona, mwami wane, yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Safi Okanya. I am originally from the Congo, DRC, which is located in the central of Africa. In my life, I have been really passionate about changing people's lives, and I have discovered that this is the mission of my life, because I've been feeling inside me that teaching has been something that I have the passion of doing. So it's something that I am really passionate about. And I have discovered that this is the mission of my life, to be in this world or on this planet Earth. As I said before, I was born in the Congo, DRC, in Central Africa, in a village called Casimir. Casimir is located in the south of the province of South Kivu. So there's where I was born, my friend. So I was I was born there, and I was brought up there since my childhood until when I reached the age of 16. My parents were poor. In my environment, in my village, most of people were farmers, including my parents. So my mom was always going farming, and that is how we survived. We arrived to survive. My daddy was a church pastor, so he was always taking care of church and reading God's words. That's how we were brought up in church environment, in Christian teaching, and my parents were both farmers. So myself, as I was seeing the environment in which we were living, I wasn't satisfied at all. And I remember one day, I even asked my parents why they just loved, or they just like living in such environments. And I went to my daddy, I asked him, Daddy, why did you just like living somewhere where there is no hope of life? And my daddy especially, replied to me, and he said, My daughter, this was not my fault. You know, at our time, we didn't have high school in our environment in the village. So we were obliged to leave the village to go to the city for high studies. But unfortunately, your grandparents did not allow me to go to the city and continue with high school. And I replied to my daddy and said, Your parents or my grandpa is lucky because he's passed away. If he was here, I would even slap him because he made our generation to be stuck in with life. He did not take a good choice for you to be someone who is not educated. And my my daddy just laughed and he said, yeah, that's how life is. So that is how that is the type of life I lived in. Farming, helping my mom, housework. So I was living like that. And because of that life condition, my parents were not able to support us for education, for our education. Primary school was just a few money, but when you arrive in high school, the amount was increasing. So because of that, my parents were not able to afford education fees. I sat down because I did not like to be living the same type of life. I sat down. I figured out how I can arrive to start supporting my own education from the age of 12. I did not have money. My parents did not have money, but fortunately, my church had a small kiosk. My church wanted to start a small business, and then they saw children or young people who were in school, like they can be able to be selling or to be working in that small business. So they organized a competition in church to memorize Bible verses, and then they gave those tasks to young children. So we were given those Bible verses to memorize for the reason of finding out who can be able to be running that business or to be like a sales assistant in that small shop. We were all given, like youth in a church, were given that task to be memorizing stuff, Bible verses, and I was among them, among the people who were selected. So we started memorizing for like 2 weeks. We started memorizing those verses. And the day of competition arrived. And I was the one who was chosen like the best performer on the day. So I was given the job. That's how I became able to support my own education. So I was going to work in the morning. I'll be at the shop, in the shop, selling like shop assistants in the morning, and I'll go to church. I'll go to school in afternoon because our school was opening in from 12 p.m. So I was doing my job in the morning and I'll go to school in afternoon. And that is how I arrived to support to start supporting my own education and also helping some of my siblings. So at that time, I continued like that with my work, going to work and schooling, both together. But because we live in a world of ups and downs, the business did not continue. It was shut down, and fortunately I had some amount of money in my pocket because I was earning some money. So I had some money in my pocket, and I sat down and I started figuring out what I can do to continue supporting my own education. I decided be to be buying 50 kilos of salt, and then I will be retiring them in small measure. And because my school was opening from 12 p.m., so I'll go to the shops in the morning, I'll sell my stuff, and then in afternoon I'll go to school. And that is how I arrived to reach year 9. But unfortunately, the war started. We were obliged to leave the country to also to Tanzania. So in Tanzania, I lived as a refugee in the camps, somewhere where people had no access to produce anything. We were living like prisoners. We were not going out of the camps without permission. And the very disappointing thing, we were we were kept like fed like baby birds. You know how baby birds are fed. So we were waiting for other people to bring food for us. Then we shall eat. And sometimes when it rains a lot, trucks will never have their way to reach the camp. And people were dying with hunger. That's how we lived. That's the life I lived. But although that, I did not give up. I said, wherever comes, wherever situation I go in, I will focus on achieving education, because this is the key of my life. So I focused all those cyclones of hunger, all those stones. I just stood for myself. I just stood still, and I said, wherever comes on my way, I am going to achieve. Year 12. So I just continued like that until I achieved year 12. Fortunately, after achieving year 12, I found a job. I was employed as youth counselor. So I was providing education sessions, and I gained a lot through my work because it was under the supervision of UNICEF and UNHCR. So I gained a lot. I was participating in many sessions about HIV contamination, HIV prevention, and I was able to from the age of 21, 22, I was able to give sessions as well because I was chosen like the vice president of youth. And at that time, I was also working as youth counselor. So that's how I survived in the camps. And after that, I had a chance to immigrate to Australia. When I arrived to Australia, I found myself both excited and nervous because I came here with no English, somewhere where I saw like different environment, different culture, different language, different I can say different everything. So sometimes I was like also stuck. Where will I start? How will I start? Because I don't know anything here about Australia. And sometimes, when you are trying to figure out which way to take, you may think maybe you take the right one, but sometimes it may not be the right one. And that what arrived to me. So in my thinking, I made a decision to get married. And I said like I thought maybe that was a good decision for me. Before I do any studies, I went into marriage and thinking that when I am married, then my husband will take care of me. That is how I went into marriage, and unfortunately, then my marriage did not work. So I saw myself like stuck. I am from non-English, as I am from non-English speaking background. I have no Australian qualification, and I got married and left. And I was thinking maybe my husband will take care of me. So I found myself like stuck. And I was thinking and thinking about how I am going to improve my life. And on top of everything, he left me with two young boys. So I was very, very, very confused with life. I had no job. I was depending on welfare payments. And because I had two children, it arrived sometimes I couldn't handle all this. I couldn't handle my children, childcare and studies and all stuff. Because I was seeing myself like I am trying then to catch up life. To I was trying to make 3 steps instead of making one step at a time. So I was trying to catch up many things because I was thinking about the time that I have lost. And as I was saying my age, I was saying I already have children. I was like totally confused. And until I couldn't handle all this. And finally, I went into homelessness. I went into homelessness with my two boys. Life. Life is very challenging. Life is very, very challenging. When we are born, We don't know what we will be going through. And the more we grow up, the more this life become more complex. But I'll tell you, my friend, life can change. Life can change. Life can be healed. Life can change from what was from worse to better. If life can change from better to worse, it can also change from worse to better. I'll tell you how I arrived to form this education. One day I was watching someone who went into hard moments. I was watching on YouTube how he went into hard moments and how he arrived to arise from $0 in his pockets. And this way, I also found like I was awakened that to see that someone can arise with nothing in their pockets and make big changes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all born for a reason. You are born for a reason. Never give up. Although you go through cycles, although you go through storms, although you go through heavy and windy rain, keep aiming. Keep aiming. There is a life there waiting for you. So when I saw that person who rose without anything, with nothing in his pockets, I saw directly that I found the way for me to stand for myself and find my destiny and search for my destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, your life does not depend on any situation you were born in. You're being poor. You're being born in a poor family does not define your future. You're being poor. You're being born in a poor family. It's not your fault. But when you die poor, then that will be your fault. Your life can change. It's your time to sit down at this moment I am talking to you and see why you were born. Find out why you were born. I'm telling you that I was like you. I didn't know why I was born. I didn't know what to do. I was depending. I put all my hope, all my life into someone else's life. When I got married, I was thinking maybe my husband will be the one who will take care of my life. Maybe he is the one who is responsible of changing my own life. But once I found my purpose on being on for being on this planet Earth, I took action. And you are there. You have got all you need with you right now. You have got everything you need because you were born with that. You were born with your ability. You were born with your talents. You were born with your dreams that you need to work on without seeing any other person. You need to know there is a life waiting for you. There is something which has been prepared just for you. There is a life which is there. There is something which was designed in your shape. It was designed in your size. And that's your dream. That's your dream. You need to discover something that you can do and stand for yourself. Stand for yourself. When I saw that person who rose from nothing, I also stood myself and I said, no matter what I have passed through, I have to stand for myself. When I came to Australia, after being left, I decided to go to school. So I did a diploma of counseling, and after that, I was enrolled to do higher studies. And in all that cycle, I found out that I am on this planet for a purpose, which is not any other than teaching you, than changing your life. And I'll tell you that you also have a purpose in your life. And you must discover it. You must discover it. You must go into deeper your life and discover that you have a purpose in your life, and that's something which made you to be on the planet. Regardless anything you are going through, there is something which you need to discover, which was born within you, and you need to work on, and you need to develop it, and you need to make it your life. You need to make it change your own life and the life of those around you. Your world needs you. Your world needs that special gift that only you have. And you need to bring it out and share it with others. As Zig Ziglar says, it's only when you help others, then you shall succeed. So find out about something that you can help others with, something that you can share with the world around you, with people around you. And that is how you will arrive to reach your destiny. There is dreams inside you. There is a talent inside you. There is something born within you, and that specific thing will never leave you until the end of your life. It's born within you and it will never leave you. It's time now to find out about that thing. There is lightning inside you. There is already light inside you. The sun is shining at this moment inside you, but it's only covered by clouds. Clouds of fear, clouds of not having self-belief, clouds of indecision, clouds of other people telling you you can't do, clouds of yourself being your own enemy, telling yourself that I can't do it, clouds of doubts, clouds of negative thinking, clouds of not knowing what your life is, clouds of not knowing what your purpose is. Remove those clouds because they are preventing you to reach the life that you want. Remove everything that you think is preventing you to reach the life that you think you deserve. Remove it. Remove and take action now, and you will see your life will never remain the same. Without bothering you, I'll just stop from there. That was my story, and I have more and more in my story, but I'll never take your all. I'll never let you be here listening to me for a very long time. So I'll just invite you to keep being with me. And on top of that, I am writing my own book in which there is my own story, beginning my childhood to now, where I put every single details of many things that I went through. I went through many things. I experienced many rejections. I was bullied at school by my principals, but all that did not prevent me to become the person who I really am. No one will make you to become that person. Only you has that responsibility. Only you are responsible of making you the person who you really are. And you need to overcome your fear by massive actions. So take action now and start your life innovation journey, and the life that you want will be in your hands. See you next time. Thank you. God bless you.
Inamona